What's up, y'all? Welcome to this week's episode of ThronesWatch. My name is Kyle Luke, and along with me here is the Ser Jorah impersonator, Zach Toombs.
Khaleesi, please. Khaleesi, no.
Khaleesi. 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 Khaleesi.
Let's cut that. How about that? We'll take that out in post. My first time. I'm rookie ThronesWatch.
Yeah,
here.
welcome aboard as we.
It's good to be here.
As we sort through the madness that is Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
First thing I wanted to talk about today is what goes around comes around, Cersei. What goes around comes around.
I am the queen! I am the queen! Have you lost your mind? Let me go!
After arming the Faith Militant and getting people thrown in jail for things like homosexuality, Cersei gets her own self thrown in jail because of incest.
Oof. Not instant karma, but delayed karma, in a sense. And this was probably, I know that you're touting your Cersei prediction here, but this has got to be one of the more predictable outcomes, the more predictable developments in season 5. She's reaping what she sowed. And how could you, I think the point has been-
what she sowed, well played.
The point
nice
has been
pun
made,
there.
Thank you. The point has been made that Cersei is one of the best short game Game of Thrones players and one of the all-time worst long game players, and that she never seems to quite think through her actions. Like, yes, she will get her rivals thrown in jail to begin with, but what makes her think that she's not going to be next? And of course, this week she was. Thank the Lord of Light that they have a strong and capable king in Tommen to bail them out of this situation.
Tommen and Sir Pounce will hold it down at the throne for however long. I don't know what Tommen's even gonna do.
He's gonna angrily stare at that dinner in his chamber and try to work this out.
With Sir Pounce.
And Kevin. Kevin Lannister.
Kevin Lannister.
The man with the worst name in the Seven Kingdoms.
Yeah, so
Kevin Lannister.
what happens now though with Cersei in jail, Marjorie in jail, and Tommen at the Faith Militant just pretty much run the show at this point, right?
Littlefinger climbs his ladder of chaos.
Yeah, that's definitely.
But yeah, who knows at this point, right? It's a battle between the remaining free Lannisters and the Faith Militant. So my guess is things will probably get ugly.
I would second that guess.
A little further north, we had Stannis moving a little closer to Winterfell, not much closer because he's now gone full George Washington at Valley Forge and is in a pretty desperate situation, one that the Onion Knight does not endorse moving forward from. But Stannis has, he's got that black magic, or red magic, whatever you want to call it. And he has faith and is appearing to move forward with the march despite the terrible conditions that he's met.
He does not want to be the king who ran. He would rather be the king who tried than the king who ran away from the battle.
We should at least just touch on the two major puzzle pieces coming together this week, something we've been waiting all season for that we knew was going to happen, and that's Tyrion and Daenerys finally being at the same place at the same time. Thanks to Jorah.
Thanks to Jorah.
My man Jorah.
Yes.
And we all know I write for Jorah and occasionally impersonate him. But proved his worth this episode in bringing the gift to Daenerys in the form of Tyrion Lannister.
So we finally have reached one of the most crucial moments of Tyrion Lannister emerging from the tunnel after Jorah, King of the Ring style, takes down, just amateur hour at the fighting pits. He introduces himself to Dany. Crucial moment moving forward for the plot, and arguably what we were talking about leading into this episode probably puts Dany in one of the better positions of, relative to the characters in the show right now.
Yeah, at a point in the season where most of our heroes and many of our villains are in a dark place, Dany and Tyrion look to be in an okay spot right now.
Yeah.
I mean, surely the Sons of the Harpy are still bearing down on Daenerys, but she's made some wise political moves, which she was always reluctant to do, or at least not really seeing clearly. She's made some wise political moves and now has the Seven Kingdoms' best political advisor at her right hand.
Meanwhile, Jorah, the heartbroken, just beaten former advisor to Dany, comes back, takes down all these multiple individuals in this beautifully displayed fighting scene, only to realize that his former queen still does not give a about him.
She holds a grudge pretty well.
Wow.
But you can't really blame her. I mean, he betrayed
Sure.
a trust that had endured, several years.
Oh, yeah.
And the worst thing about it was that he betrayed it from the very beginning. In the past few weeks, Jorah has been banished by his queen and his wannabe lover, has contracted Westerosi leprosy, found out his father died, enslaved, and then again rejected by Daenerys.
And it probably is only in the third or fourth worst situation compared to the other characters on the show. Game of Thrones.
Let's go Thrones Watch, the power rankings this week. Where do we stand?
So last week, power rankings is getting a little shifted here. Last week we had the Lannisters on top because Cersei made the move to get Marjorie thrown in jail.
And Lannisters have to be sort of by default at top because they do currently occupy.
Tommen and Sir Pounce still are holding it down,
Yeah.
technically, in the most technical sense possible. They're still number one on the throne.
If power rankings were purely about power, Tommen would be probably not on this list, right?
Yeah,
Neither would the Lannisters.
unlisted, not even ranked. Number two we had it's Stannis. That's probably gonna have to move now because all the foreshadowing bodes very, very, very
Yeah, he's
poorly.
headed into a rough patch.
Yeah, and then third we had Dany, who I kind of want to bump up, if not the top through technicality, near the top because Tyrion has showed up. Dany is seeming to get a little bit of a better grasp and control, on this, marine situation that just will not end. So I kind of like Dany moving up in Thrones Watch.
I think that's fair. So we have to keep Thrones Watch. We have to keep the Lannisters at the top. They do occupy the throne. Let's move Dany up to number 2, and may I nominate Peter Littlefinger Baelish for the number 3 spot.
He's got to be on the list. He's playing the game, the long game, as well as anyone out there right now. And, before it was always just how much power could Peter Baelish get. And, he rises up and up and up as a Lord of the Vale. And just when you think he's going to stop there, you begin to see that there is a road here where he could theoretically rise to the very top.
He's employed a pretty smart strategy of letting his enemies fight it out and coming in just at the right moment. And as always, he's proved that he takes advantage of chaos, and that's what he's doing in Season 5, absolutely. I don't think Littlefinger is as clever as Littlefinger thinks he is.
Sure.
I think that he doesn't quite have the hold on Sansa that he would like to believe, but he's definitely looking a lot better this week than he has in a long time, I think. And so he's got to be on the board somewhere. And let's call it number 3.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next week for Thrones Watch.